Namaste, beloveds. This is Mother with Wisdom, Valerie Ames, Tiamat, and this is a very um, poof, big moon energy download is what I'm going to call it. And I'm going to just keep grounding myself more and more into this. It's early morning where I am in Wisconsin in the U.S., and I'm just full with this message and this energy and the understanding of what is taking place inside this now moment for humanity. And I'm just going to get to it the way it was given to me. One of the things is understanding this is for indigenous ones, this is for people, children of the sun. I'll put it that way. Children of the sun. This is a message for the children of the sun. Children of the sun, I greet you. I greet you. I greet you. I greet you with so much love, so much honor, so much respect for your strength, for your fortitude, for your courage, for your unconditional love. And I want you to know that this is the Jubilee and the harvest season time. This is that cycle. This is that season. This is where we begin to understand who the essence, the frequency, the vibration, the interconnectedness of all things. This is where we reunite back into that spiritual collective. And some things have been coming up in my spirit because I've been looking at some things on Facebook and just looking at some of your posts and some of my posts as well. And Mama wants me to say that this is a spiritual war. This is not a physical war. This war will be dealt with fire, spiritual fire. Okay, the Kundalini serpent fire that comes from within, that's embedded in your spine, that your synaptic nerves and everything taps into. This is that liquid essence that is encoded with your truth, your deepest truth, your deepest essence. And what I'm being told, I'm going to give it to you just like it was, I received it. And that is this. It is not time to be Nat Turner, okay? That time came and it has passed. And the lessons that were learned was that you can stand up and that many of you will be lost because of it. But you stand up because that is your spirit. That is your essence. You are spiritual warriors. You have a very strong sense of balance. I won't use the words right or wrong because right now that's all irrelevant. It's all irrelevant. What is relevant is the flow of energy and the frequency. And those frequencies being maintained and being understood, beloveds. And you being able to mentally and spiritually in your heart decide where you are going to stand in this spiritually, What is your spiritual identity? Do you identify more with universal love, unconditional love? Or do you identify more with the struggling and the suffering and the pain and the injustice? Do you need more of that to get to your spiritual awakening, your spiritual epiphany of who you are at your essence, your truest essence? And this is where we're being guided to. Your highest essence, your highest self needs to be integrated right now, needs to be recognized, needs to be anchored within you, needs to be welcomed home. And you need to know that there is nothing outside of you that's bigger or badder than you, okay? The only thing that's bigger and badder than you is your ego. And your ego will trip you up because it enjoys, it reigns in the outside of spirit. It identifies itself as the outside world. Everything is outside, outside, outside. And it knows that it is king of and queen and god and goddess of the outside world. But it can't do nothing when it comes to that inside, that spiritual nature, that spiritual essence. It has to take the back seat. And the more you are able to ground and center and focus yourself and realize what is your truest identity, where that essence flows the most powerful. It's the only word that comes. Where that essence flows the most powerful from. That is where your center is. And you need to ground yourself there, baby. And you need to know who you are and what you draw upon, and that you are not alone. I don't want this to be all over the place. I didn't write things down. Like I said, I woke up with this. So it's, I didn't have time to organize it or write it down or blah, 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 blah. It is what it is. And there are those of you who will grasp it, and there are those of you that will be looking at other stuff, you know, and that's where your attention and your focus goes, because you have not gained the self-mastery and the self-discipline to hear, to listen, to see with sight beyond sight, with not just your physical, but with your inside and your spiritual. And so when I communicate with you, I'm communicating with you heart to heart, spirit to spirit. And that's where I welcome you in. That's where we're corded and we're bonded, and that's where the collective link, plug comes in. The Nat Turner thing. Excuse me. Beloveds, most of you know who Nat Turner is. You know that he was a slave during history, and that he had as much as he could take spiritually, and he united the slaves in rebellion, and his way was to kill. His way was to use the methods that the slave master had used. So he took that upon himself to battle that in that way. This is harvest and jubilee time. That is not the way. You cannot meet that kind of violent fire with violent fire. In order to put this flame out, you have to become a bigger spiritual flame. You have to let that spiritual flame inside of you, that Kundalini flame, you have to let it burst forth. You have to let it's seated in you. And you have to let it ignite. And fire blossoms and blooms. That's what I was shown. It is a seed that is planted, that has been implanted in us. This spiritual fire. And this is the proper time with all the alignments and everything that's going on, and with everyone beginning to awaken and beginning to see and beginning to understand what mirrors are and what knowing yourself is, and understanding that this is not working, and understanding that great atrocities have been committed in order to keep a system in place that only caters to a few and enslaves and puts his foot on everyone else's neck. And that is why we have rampant disease and dis-ease in the human soul and spirit. And what Gaia is picking up from us. And beloveds, it's time. It's time for you to know who you are. I'm getting cold, so I'm going to put my sweater on. Excuse me while I do that. Oh goodness, it's all turned around and acting crazy. Excuse me. Here we go. Okay. Like I was saying, beloveds. There we go. Okay. We have to really get back to the essence of who we are as spiritual beings, as loving beings, as family, as sisters, mothers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, aunties, daughters, wives, lovers. We really have to start seeing each other again as precious, as divine expressions. You don't take advantage of yourself. When you take advantage of your brother and sister, it's gonna hurt you. It's gonna come back on you. And that's not the way to go, beloveds. They're in the same boat that you are. Why are you fighting them? You got a whole system that is taking your identity, that is killing the planet, that is plotting and scheming to keep your babies in servitude and in misery to feed it. And you want to attack each other. And you want to attack those who are sharing light and love. Hurt people, okay? Hurt people, hurt people. Holy people, heal people. You know them by their actions. You know them by the love they show. Not just the words that come out of their mouth, but the love that you can feel. Because there's certain things that can't be faked, baby. There's certain things that you can't lie about. And there's certain things that you can't steal from another person. You can't take, you can't diminish it. Because it's not of this world. And that's why you don't recognize that and you think you can overcome it. What you need to overcome is that way of thinking. That's called self-mastery. That's called knowing yourself. That's called aligning yourself with universal energy. And if your place is that lesser light, then you can be that lesser light, but understand that even the lesser light cannot be plotting to hurt and scheme the other lights. That's not the way it goes. That's not the way it should be. You have to sit in the seat of power, okay? And on your left and on your right, you have your conscious. You have the right side or whatever side. On one side, because it's different for some. On one side, you have that conscious, that higher consciousness that will always tell you to take the higher road, that will always lift you up, that will always speak to you of your strength and of your purpose and of your unconditional love and your ability to rise. And then you have that other voice, the one that tells you, you can't do it. I got you. Stay down here with me. They laughing at you. They doing this, they doing that. They. Your higher voice is saying, inside you, inside you, inside you. Not out there, not out there, not out there. Inside you. Master you. Master your thoughts. You can't master somebody else's thoughts. You can't master somebody else's behaviors. You can't master somebody else's feelings, frequencies, or vibrations. That is not why you are here. That is on them. You love them, but that is they have to put the work in just as you put the work in. And that work ain't easy, baby. Mm-mm. That's going through ancestral wounds. Okay? It's magnified the deeper you go in. And we've got to go in. This is the harvest time. This is the time to bring what is in out and eat, baby. And serve it. And free. We can celebrate now. That's where we are with this. And the other thing is, beloveds, trying to find a way to say this. Encourage each other. Support each other. We all have walked through hell with gasoline draws on. That's what these lessons are. We had to go through this to ignite that seed that is inside of us, to burst into flame, to bloom, to spread that spiritual fire. When you understand what the Holy Spirit is seen as in the element of breath and fire and water. It contains all the elements, but it's mostly portrayed as fire because that's the essence, that's the nature of it. It burns, it purifies, it transforms, it transmutes. And that's what that Holy Spirit is. And that's what you have got to embody. That's what you've got to make space for. That's what you've got to make room for. And everything else that's going on outside, forgive it, forget it, let it go, because it's just a distraction to take you from your self-mastery. Or it's a lesson for you to learn more about who you are as a being, as a spiritual being. Learn to look at yourself. Learn to observe. Learn to know yourself as a spiritual being and look for spiritual signs and miracles and synchronicities and connectiveness in your life. And the more you begin to look for it, the more it will show itself, the more it will reveal itself to you. And the more you know that you're connected to it, that you are this spirit, that this is a part of you communicating with you. And this part of you has always been. So there is no fear in it. There is none of that, this earthly stuff. Within, there's no hate, there's no fear, there's no doubt, there is none of that. There is only knowing. There is only being. There is only expanding. And when you sit on that throne, baby, you have arrived. You have arrived. And your ancestors shine. And baby, you feel that shine because you have completed something within yourself that has gone back, that is to set fire to that blood, that even though they're not corporeal, even though they're not corporal, they still feel it. They feel the healing. And they smile because you were the one. And what they contributed, you got it. You caught it. You held onto it. And you fought with it. And you know that it comes from them. That's why it's within you. That is the seat of power. And when you know how to use that, and you are in that place, and you look out, you know that you can be a true instrument of healing. Because you see from an eternal macro vision and a micro vision like this. And the dimensions don't mean diddly. The galaxies don't mean diddly. Because you know your spirit and you know how to move within the fluidity of time. That it is not some linear thing. It is circular. And those cycles, everything repeats. What was, is, and will always be. Nothing. Energy doesn't die. Energy doesn't go away. It only stays. And it grows and it watches and it observes. And those who are vessels, receptors, they pick up on the frequencies. And that's how they are able to tap into the unseen or the unconscious and bring it forth, give birth to it. Okay, that's I'm going to, the majority of what I wanted to say is in that Nat Turner piece. It's in the piece about knowing yourself. It's in the heart of forgiving and allowing, because that is how you earn your seat. That is how you earn your throne. That is how you master it. That's how you get to call yourself a god or a goddess or a queen or a king, is by self-mastery. And if you aren't working on yourself, you have no right to those titles at all. You have no, that's a Burger King crown, okay? It is what it is. That's another thing. Glad I said that. Glad that came up. Beloveds, we look at this world and we look at it with the eyes of the matrix system that we have been programmed with. And many of us are so gone. um, in chasing the illusion of what a dream or wealth looks like, or what it has been represented to be by the elite, and what they want you striving for, what they say is worth getting on that hamster wheel and just giving all your energy and your time to, and all your anxiety and all your worry, chasing after wealth, after something that can be taken away from you in a blink of an eye. When the ancestors, the reason they valued certain things was because of its spiritual properties, not monetary properties or worth. Spiritual properties. Gold was a deep conductor. Mercury, different gems, different crystals, different types of wood. They had spiritual properties. There was spiritual value to them. They amplified spiritual wealth, abilities, and gifts. And that is why they were valued above all else, because of the conductivity, the amplification of the spiritual essence, not for money. And we have got to get back to that. And those that are able to lead from a place of heart-centeredness, that's a place of unconditional love that does not judge. It works on itself constantly. It reflects. It asks questions. It wants to know how to be better. It wants to know, how can I be more my authentic self? It uses polarity and duality to contrast, so it knows and recognizes which way it should move. It allows personal freedoms and personal choices. It does not judge. And if it does, it learns. Thou shalt not judge others. Because when you do that, you're judging yourself. You're judging what they represent within you, that part of yourself, that be it shadow or light. So what you give your attention to, what you focus on, really has depth to it. It's not just surface. This is the lessons that you need to work on. Don't feel bad about your lessons. Don't resent them. Don't hate those or fear those that bring you to that point. Some of us go kicking and screaming, but once we get past it, once we get to the other side of it, we say, okay, I needed that ass whooping. I needed that lecture, because wasn't nothing else gonna move me. You know, I was gonna stay stuck because I'm that Taurus, I'm that hard-headed. I needed something. This is what I agreed to. You know, my higher self knew I needed this. And my higher self also knows I've got a big enough heart where I'm not gonna hold on to none of this. I'm not gonna hold on to it, because we are all growing. Excuse me. My knee. We're all growing, beloveds. We are all working through our pain, and working through our shame, and working through our fears, and working through our guilt. And the way we've learned to do that is to strike out at each other. You know, is to be crabs in the barrel, so to speak. And we've got to look at that and back up from it and recognize when you're doing that and say, well, catch yourself. Snatch yourself back. Use that crook. Snatch yourself back. Use that flail. Get it in line, sister. 1, 2, 1, 2. And beloveds, allow yourself to expand. Allow yourself to grow. And understand that growing is a painful process because some things have to die within you for new things to be able to grow. Those things that died serve as fertilizer, serve as mulch, serve as compost, okay, for those new seeds to burst. They nourish them. A lot of you think I stay in the past a lot and that I'm stuck there and blah, 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 blah. And I want you to know that that's the way I reflect. That's the way I grow. It's not that I'm stuck there. You can get that spiral will grab you, and its essence is so deep. Its vibration and its pull and its hold and those emotions are so strong that yes, you can get trapped in there again. But the same way that you got yourself out of there the first time is the same way that you get yourself out of there each and every time. And that is by knowing yourself. I'm better than that. I was not born to be this. I was not born. I'm not going to let my children only have this, only know this. I want them to know you can do better. You can be better. You are better. The spirit that dwells in you, baby, is unlimited. Learn to tap into yourself. But you've got to love that part of you for it to grow. You got to call that part of you forward. You can call it your inner child if you want. That's your true innocence. That's your true nature. That's what's hurt within you. Because it looks around and it sees and it knows. This ain't right. It's hurt. I don't like this. I know what it's supposed to be. I want to go home. I want to go back to the womb. Birth, the womb. Gaia is the womb. We have to make her beautiful paradise, safe and warm, a place for us. The more we take for ourselves, the more we will care for her. It'll just vibrate outwards. That's what frequencies do. They vibrate outwards, beloved. I'm gonna get more into this. I'm gonna get into the cards now. I'm going to be also doing more of these videos as I am led to do, especially with these different energies that are coming up right now and politics and everything the way it is right now. Know that everything is in alignment, beloveds, and you are seeing the fruit of your ancestors, okay? All that they have gone through is for this harvest time. It's for you. Okay. I wanted to start the readings, and I'm sorry about the mowing outside. So I'm going to speak up a little bit more. I'm going to start off with the Archangel Raphael Healing Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue. And I'm going to ask Mama to just tell us what we need that will give us the best healing in this now moment. Oh, these cards. Best, what we need, information to help us with our healing in this now moment as we begin this harvest and ascension time. What do we need, Mama? Give us your cares. Dear God and Archangel Raphael, I am willing to release any fears to you. Please allow me to completely let go so that you can fully guide me in this situation. That is such a beautiful card. Let's see what Doreen Virtue says about it. Give us your cares. And there's not a number on this. Give us your cares. 48, which is 12, which is 3. 48. And needless stress is exacerbating this health concern, and the angels would like to help. Archangel Raphael is ready to receive and transmute any health-related fears. There are many ways to release fears to the angels, including writing a letter, speaking to the angels aloud, explaining your feelings to Raphael in your mind, and inhaling deeply, then exhaling your worries to God and the angels. And beloved, that means on your in-breath, you bring in your connection with Archangel Raphael. Raphael is the angel of healing. Um, and that's why you see the green. He is that heart-centered healing um, angel. And connect and link with that. Bring that in. Be still. Light candles. Do what you need to do. Light some incense. And release your fears. Release your fears. Write a letter. Speak to the angels aloud, explaining your feelings to Raphael in your mind, and inhaling deeply, then exhaling your worries to God and the angels. On that outward breath, that sigh, let it all go out. When I was being taught some things, I'll put it that way, I was taught to, when on that outward breath, when you're purifying and cleaning yourself, on that outward breath, see it as being black and smoky and toxic and just with all the little lint and everything else in it, and see it as ashes and everything that is just burnt up and no longer of any use to you, and you just give it to the universe, and the universe will transmute that. Okay? Possible specific meanings. Ask for help more often from people as well as angels, and that's especially talking to us little introverts, because we are such empathic people that the world is a very cold and painful place for us most times. It's very uncomfortable to be around people who are so sleep and do not desire to wake up. As that's very, hard for us. And so we isolate and we protect ourselves that way. That's how we stay grounded, that's how we stay centered. It's not that we're antisocial. We love human beings. We want you all to wake up. We want you all to be beautiful, to be nice to each other, to love each other, to, that's what will bring us more outside of ourselves. And the more we realize that, the more we come out of ourselves, because we are reaching out for our collective. We are reaching out for insights and support. We're bridging the gaps the way we need to. Okay. Possible specific meanings. Ask for help more often from people as well as the angels. Talk about your feelings with trusted individuals in addition to the angels. Practice relaxation methods such as massage, meditation, nature walks, or yoga. Trust that everything is okay. And this is the prayer. Dear God and Archangel Raphael, I am willing to release any fears to you. Please allow me to completely let go so that you can finally guide me in this situation. And that was the Archangel Raphael cards. Next, I'm going to move to my animal messengers and see what we get from the animal guides. Spider is always at the bottom of this deck lately. I don't care what I do. That spider card just loves the bottom of this deck. I don't know what it is, but she is always there. Always. Okay. Mama, give us the wisdom from the animal kingdom. What do we need? Give us the wisdom from the animal kingdom. Okay. Zebra. Zebra came up, beloved. Zebra. And Zebra says, let go of your fear and know that you are safe and protected at all times. Let's see. Zebra. 135, 9. Did I bring my cup? No. Yes, I did. Excuse me 1 minute. I gotta drink my coffee. I know it's cold. Something about coffee, y'all. Okay. Let go of your fear and know that you are safe and protected at all times. Whenever you venture into unfamiliar territory, it's quite natural to feel some trepidation. Beloveds, this is a new time for us. This is a new age. This is harvest time. This is Jubilee time. We have not experienced this in ages. Do you know how many thousands and millions of years it's been? We are we're entering into that grass and everything that's got me. Hold on, let me ground myself. Okay. Okay. Whenever you venture into unfamiliar territory, it's quite natural to feel some trepidation. Your mind can create all sorts of scenarios as to what can go wrong. Doubts and uncertainties may arise, and the path can seem fraught with challenges and sometimes even danger. You may find yourself stuck at times, fearful about moving ahead. Yet, much of what we label as fear isn't actually fear. True fear is a vital, instinctual response to any life-threatening situation and is triggered not only by circumstances or events, but even more so by what you think about those circumstances or events. It's in your mind, beloveds. And those that play mind games, they play with your thoughts. They want to seed your thoughts. They want to infiltrate your mind and mess with your flow and your frequency and your vibration. And so you have to stay centered, and you have to stay alert, and you have to be observant, because they don't know how to focus on themselves. So they focus on you. Stay relaxed, yet vigilant, trusting that nothing can truly harm you and that your body will provide sensory information if there is any actual danger. If there truly is any threat, then your instincts will tell you what to do. With me, my guides, I had someone tell me, who was into alternative spirituality, where they did shamanistic travels and so forth and so on. And they looked at me and they said, "You're not spiritually protected. You don't have any signs or symbols or blah, 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 in your life. And you're totally unprotected. You're just out there. And you think you're this and you think you're that, but you're just out there." And I told this person, "Baby, you're dealing with the unseen. When you're dealing with spiritual world, you can't go by what presents itself to you. You can't go by the size of something. You can't go by the shape of it. You can't go by even what it says to you. You have to use sight beyond sight. You have to use what you feel. You have to use those instincts. And if you have honed those instincts will not lead you wrong. You will know something is up. Deep within you, you know. And you start looking at things and you start connecting dots. And you know what you know. There's no way to unknow. And once you have developed your sight beyond sight, there's no way that it will not come to you, that it will not inform you, that it will not speak to you. Even when you're like, "What? What? That's crazy." Baby, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Okay? Trust your instincts. Trust your inner knowing that's coming from a deeper place than your mind, that's coming from your spirit, that's coming from a source that has always existed, that sees all and knows all, that's infinite intelligence, that's speaking directly to you, that you've tapped into, that is part of you, part of your knowing yourself, part of your existence, a part of your expansion, part of your evolution, part of your ascension, is to incorporate these instincts so that they are just like walking, just like your heartbeat, involuntary. Okay. True fear is a vital instinctual response to any life-threatening situation and is triggered not only by circumstances or events, but even more so by what you think about those circumstances or events. Stay relaxed, yet vigilant, trusting that nothing can truly harm you and that your body will provide sensory information if there is any actual danger. If there truly is any threat, then your instincts will tell you what to do. Whenever you feel an exaggerated sense of fear, triggered mainly by your thoughts, one that has little or no basis in reality, take a few slow, deep breaths. Call upon spirit helpers who have provided their guidance and protection before. Reach out to close friends or family members for reassurance. And to help you feel grounded and centered, recall those times in the past when you did feel frightened or were endangered and not only survived, but came through intact. You see what I said about certain things in your past? you have to go and re-examine those things because they have deep lessons for you. You miss something, and you got to, in order to really reclaim and say, I know myself, you have to go back and get those pieces of knowledge that you left back there, you know, for whatever reason. That's called soul retrieval. And I've been saying that a lot lately. Call upon spirit helpers who have provided their guidance and protection before. Reach out to those friends or family members for reassurance and to help you feel grounded and centered. Recall those times in the past when you did feel frightened or were endangered and not only survived, but came through intact. You can also relabel fear and instead call it excitement or passion. I call it passion. I'm passionate, you know. It's that that adrenaline. It's the adrenaline. We want to call it, we can put all kind of names on it, but it's the adrenaline. It's a hormonal chemical reaction that was designed to get you to move, no matter how stuck you are. And you got to learn to use that so that it does not paralyze you. Fear is to make you move. It's not for you to stay there, like a deer caught in the headlights. No, you see the headlights, you move. As the two emotions are very similar in the way they manifest in the body, most of all, trust your spirit guides, your instincts, and your friends to watch out for you. Associations: protection, guardianship, alertness, kind-heartedness, compassion, individuality, compromise, challenge, analysis, illusion, magic, sure-footedness, confident, changes, and agility. All of that has to do with the zebra. Zebra. Okay. And that is that card. And I'm going to move forward. I'm going to just pull 3 from the um, Abraham Hicks Entering the Vortex. Mama, give us some very powerful, put in our hearts, that will give birth to what we need, our self-identity. That will help give birth to our self-identity, Mama. That will help give birth to our self-identity, to our highest self, and our highest way of knowing, the highest way of being. And just let us grasp it. Just let us digest this information and let it be for those that need it most, because we do. Okay. Wow. I gotta see it because, wow. Wow. This card right here is just vibing. It has its own energy to it. It is number 33, and we will get to it. It was the second card pulled. Let me get to it, beloved. These are very powerful. Sorry. But it is what it is. When you are empathic and you get this kind of energy. I don't know if you've ever seen um, a cat or a dog and you rub them in a particular manner or a particular way, and they just melt. They just, oh my God, that feels so good. That's what these three cards feel like. Okay. We've just had this card. Just had her. Um, Remember I was talking about the brain and the lobe, front lobe, and the hair, and la 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 being the dark matters and the strings and all of this. Well, and the heart being given and the hand being placed on the shoulder as though she's being told it's okay. I can focus on what I do want in a relationship. And beloveds, with this card repeating again and again and again and again so much, we really have to pay attention to it. It's telling us about our focus. And this is going to current events, what's going on in all of our relationships, what is going on globally. This is macrocosmically and microcosmically. This is the seen and the unseen, the conscious and the unconscious, all coming together at once. And the message is focus and concentrate on what you want, not what you don't want. And understand that when you do focus on one, the other is called, because it is the mirror, it is the opposite, it is the polarity. And they are connected. And you cannot have one without the other. As we are vibrating right now, we have not ascended to a place where we do not need the duality just yet. We have not gotten past that. That is sixth heaven and higher. Right now, we are fifth and moving upwards. Many of you are still in the 3D. And we dip down and we rise back up. We dip down and rise back up. This is a part of growing. You fall down, you get back up. Be gentle with yourself. Allow. We are infants in this. Stop thinking you are almighty, grown goddess, blah, 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 all powerful. No, you're not. You're not. You're still a baby. You're still a baby. You got to learn all over again how to be spiritual. That is your true identity and your true essence. Okay. By focusing upon the wanted characteristics of those around you, you train your vibrational offering to match only the best in them. And then the law of attraction can no longer match you up with the worst in them. And look at the other video to get what comes with that. When you focus upon the worst of them and train your vibrational offering to match only the worst in them, the law of attraction can no longer match you up with the best in them. So if all we see is the worst in this world, that's all we're going to get, because that's what we're attracting. But when we concentrate and focus on the best in this world, we reverse the polarity and we start bringing in what's best for us, for us all. So this is telling, focus on paradise, beloved. Don't focus on how this world is crumbling and falling apart. It has to. It has to. It has served its purpose. It has taught us we need to know who we are, or someone will come along and make us who they want us to be. So you have to value who you are above all else. Your identity is precious, it's priceless. It's God's gift to you. And when you identify yourself as a spiritual being, as a starseed, as an indigo, there is a certain vibration and frequency that you're projecting. And you're automatically calling other starseeds to you, because it's a beacon. Your love is a beacon. It's a light that shines and it draws them to you. And you are drawn to them because you need to hear what's coming from their hearts. And you need to be close to that essence. because it feeds your spirit. It nourishes something deep within you. Sometimes we can't even explain it. And sometimes it is a dark place or dark energy. But beloveds, whatever it is, grow from it. Use it to grow for. That's what it's there for. Ask it, what is your purpose? Out of unconditional love that I have for you, what is your purpose? In your love for me, and what you agreed to do for me, what is your purpose? What are you here to teach me? What do I need to learn about myself that will help me, help my family, help my collective, help Gaia, help me, teach me. Even if it's painful, teach me. If this is my lesson, then it's my lesson. Teach me. And let me be humble while I walk through it. And if I'm angry and lashing out and passionate and having fits and throwing tantrums, I'm growing. See it for what it is. Know it for what it is. It's a temporary state of mind while I find balance, while I get my equilibrium together, while I look at this was light and that was dark and this was shadow, and I felt the comfort of the shadow more than I felt the light and the love of the unconditional heart. Learn to navigate through your feelings and your thoughts. Be mindful. Observe you. Study you. Don't study nobody else. Study you, baby. You are the key. You are the answer. You and your heart. And you've always got spirit and guides helping you and encouraging you. There will always be someone, seen or unseen, to help you. To help you calm. To help you breathe. To help you lay that burden down, baby. Lay it down. Refuse to carry it. I refuse. My ancestors carried that enough. I'm not taking that one step further. Not one. I refuse. And you can't make me. And I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it. That's what I came here to do. This card, beloveds. Whew, this card, it still gives me the heebie-jeebies.